So we can celebrate it today. And because it's Valentine's week, I would like to talk about love. The most important relationship you have in your life is with yourself. And therefore, it is so important to love yourself and to show yourself that you love yourself on a regular basis. And one of the ways that we do that is by practicing self care. Now, sometimes, especially in today's society, self care seems like such a buzzword. And I often feel like self care can be confused for selfishness. Sometimes people might mistake one for the other. So, how do you know the difference? Self care is anything that you do that actually contributes to your physical and mental well being. So, when you are practicing yoga, you are doing self care because you're caring for your physical body, you're caring for your mind. And having a regular yoga practice does take some self discipline. But the way that I think of it is self discipline is actually another word for saying that you are caring for yourself. You're taking the time, the energy, and the discipline to put in the work for yourself so that your body and your mind stay healthy. And when we're talking about discipline and self care and doing yoga, it's always important to remember that every single day we meet our bodies in a different place. All of the things that we did the day before, the week before, and our entire lives before today have led up to this point where our bodies are in a certain place, our minds are in a certain place, and our abilities are at a certain level. So we are meeting our bodies in this moment, right now, today, keeping in mind what our limitations are, remembering that we all have an edge in each pose. We don't want to go past that edge. We don't even really want to get all the way to the edge. We kind of want to stay a little bit in front of it. So we don't want to ever push ourselves too far so that we get injured. But we still have the discipline to show up here for ourselves on our mats. We still have the discipline to give ourselves the love and the care, practicing our breathing, and doing the very best that we can in each moment on our mat. Okay, so with that in mind, let us enter this practice into this practice with self-love and take everything that we can out of it. Remember that everything that we do in our flow is just an offering. If it seems right for you, please take it. If it doesn't seem right for you today, that's okay. You can totally skip a pose or change it in any way that makes it right for your body. All right, let's go over to our mats. And we'll start today laying down. Just find a nice, comfortable position on your mat. Laying down flat on your back in yoga is called Shavasana. Traditional Shavasana has us with our legs flat on the ground, our whole body flat on the ground. So if you'd like to start like that, you can do that. Or if for some reason your lower back is bothering you, maybe you want to take a little modification. Pop the knees up, pointing the knees to the sky. And then put some space between the feet and let your knees gently fall in towards each other. They don't need to touch here. It just gives them a little place to rest, sort of leaning inward a little bit. Find a comfortable spot for your hands. You can have your palms on the ground, facing down, or maybe the backs of your hands on the ground, palms facing up. Or if it feels right to you, you can also start your practice with your hands on your belly so you can feel your breath underneath your fingers. Feel your belly moving in and out with the breath. And once you've found a nice, comfortable position, close your eyes And tune into the sounds around you. Maybe you can hear some ambient traffic noise from outside. There might be some sort of a vent blowing, or maybe there's a dishwasher running, washing machine. And then turn your attention inward and start listening to the sound of your breath. If your nose isn't stuffed up, you can seal your lips and breathe in and out of the nose. Today I'm a little stuffed up, so I'm going to still be breathing in and out of my mouth. See if you notice your breath on the inside of your nose or your throat. And then notice where in your body you feel your breath move. Perhaps you're feeling your belly, your chest rising and falling with each breath. Maybe you feel your breath in your back, pushing against the ground as you breathe in. And gently releasing pressure as you exhale. Start to stretch the breath out here. With each inhale, filling up the belly, feeling your rib cage moving, expanding. And with each exhale, emptying out all the way. Feeling everything gently coming back in towards the center of your body. Now start to turn your attention to the rest of your body. Little body scan here. Checking in head to toe. Noticing any sore spots, any tenderness, any areas that you want to be careful of while you move through your practice today. And maybe even keeping those areas in mind throughout the rest of your day as well, just being extra careful of any tender areas. Once you've gone through your whole body, make your way back to your breath. Taking a couple more big, full, deep breaths here, just being inside of your body. Blinking your eyes open, come into cannonball, draw the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the legs. Take a big breath in here. On your exhale, curl tight into a ball, lifting your forehead up to your knees, squeeze everything together. Releasing the head back down to the mat. Bring hands to the kneecaps. And then find some movement here. Just gentle circles. Notice how that feels on the lower back. And you can find circles going the other way. Then we can come into a little twist here, bringing the arms out wide in a T, or you can also goal post the arms, bringing the fingers pointing straight up if you don't have so much room by your sides here. And then try to make a tabletop with the legs 90-degree angle and the knees and hips. Take a big breath in here. On the exhale, drop the knees down to one side. They can go all the way to the ground. And then those fingers on that side, if you like, you can tuck your fingertips in the crease of the top knee there. Helps the legs stay down a little bit. And turn the head, bringing the gaze over to the opposite hand to complete your twist. So we've got a twist from the neck all the way down to our hips here. See if you notice where in your back, where in your body you're feeling this twist. Maybe you feel it more on one side than the other, more towards the top or the bottom. When you're ready, releasing that top arm back out to the side. Bring the legs up to center on a breath in. As you breathe out, they can drop down to the other side, trying to keep that 90-degree angle or just something close to it. Fingertips can tuck in the crease of that top knee and turn the head, bringing the gaze over to the opposite hand, completing your twist. Bringing awareness into the spine, the hips, the neck. See if you can notice where you feel this twist on this side. Perhaps comparing to the other side, differences, similarities. When you're ready, releasing that top arm back out to the side. Inhale, knees come up to center. And we can tuck the fingertips in the creases of both knees and rock and roll a few times forward and back along the spine. Making your way up to a seat. Let me just adjust my little mic receiver. Okay, I'm coming into easy pose here. Cross-legged with the feet and knees open, or a little bit more tight with the feet tucked underneath the knees, or you can also just have your legs kind of out to the sides, wherever they feel nice here. And then rock side to side, forward and back to a couple circles with your upper body, one way and the other. And find your comfortable center point here. Nice, comfortable seated position. Let's come into a forward fold. On the breath in, we can lift our hands up overhead, stretching the spine up tall. Look up, bringing the hands together. As you breathe out, folding forward. Fingertips can come down to the ground. And then start to walk the hands forward. Maybe you can even keep your spine really long as you go down here. And once you find that edge, just round out the back, letting the head and neck relax towards the ground. Don't worry about how far down you get here. It's more important to just listen to your body. See how you're feeling, where you feel this stretch. And on a breath in, come back up to a seat. Releasing the hands down to the lap. Let's start with some neck exercises. You can just do some gentle neck rolls here. Listening to the neck. Noticing any sensations there, differences from one spot to another as you turn around. You can switch directions, finding circles going the other way. See if you notice any differences between the two different directions, turning your head one way versus the other. And come back up to center. Let's make our way into a twist. Breathing in, lifting the hands up. Exhale, twisting around to one side. One hand can come behind us, and the other hand can just rest in front of us on the ground or cross over the opposite knee. Take a big breath in here. See if you can sit up a little taller. On the breath out, maybe going deeper into the twist, bending the elbows, peeking over the back shoulder. One more time, if you like, with the breath. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, deepening the twist. Back to center on a breath in. Hands come up overhead. Exhale, twisting around to the other side. Other hand comes behind. This hand can just be in front of you or crossing over the opposite knee. Big breath in to sit up nice and tall. On the exhale, deepening into the twist, bending the elbows, maybe even peeking over the back shoulder. Once again with the breath, lengthening the spine, breathing in, and deepening the twist as you breathe out. Back up to center on an inhale, floating the hands up. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Let's reach down and switch our legs. Front leg coming to the back leg going out in front. Again, here you can have your feet tucked underneath your knees. Might feel really different from the other side. That's totally normal. And once again, folding over the feet. Big breath in to bring the hands up. And on the exhale, take your time coming down. Don't worry about how far down you go. Try to keep the spine really long. Walking the fingers out helps to stretch the spine just a little longer. And then once you find your edge, rounding out the back and letting the head and neck relax towards the ground. Maybe the elbows come to rest down on the ground. Take a couple big, full, deep breaths here. See if you notice any differences between this side and how it felt when our legs were crossed the other way. In our forward fold over the feet. There's no judgment. We're just noticing differences, similarities between our two sides. On a breath in, lifting back up to a seat. Take your time coming up. And release the hands down to the lap. Find a nice comfortable spot for your hands on your knees here. We could do a little spinal warm-up. On the inhale, rolling the shoulders down, arching the back. You can lean your head back and peek up to the sky. And as you breathe out, push your spine the other way, starting from the very base of the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Spine goes out behind you and relax the head and neck down. We can keep going just like that, tying the breath to the movement. Inhaling, arching the back, pushing the shoulders down, leaning your head and peeking up to the sky. Exhaling, spine goes out behind you, one vertebrae at a time. Head and neck relax down. You can move your hands while you're doing this. Maybe feeling that shoulder rotation as well. This one gets really into all the vertebrae in the spine, the neck, the shoulders. Just noticing where in your body you're feeling this stretch. Maybe you can even identify some individual vertebrae in your back. Maybe not. That's okay too. Whatever sensations you're feeling is fine. Come back up to a neutral spine. And let's come into our side stretch, starting with a big breath in to lift the hands up. And on the exhale, we can bring one hand down to the ground and let the opposite arm come arcing overhead. And then you can walk these fingers out as close, as far as that hand feels good is fine. Just letting yourself find your own stopping point here. If you want to go deeper into the stretch, you can bend and straighten the elbow, really exploring how that stretch feels. And some movement. And on a breath in, when you're ready, lifting back up to center. Exhale, coming down to the other side. Other hand comes to the ground, walking the fingers out. Opposite arm arcing overhead. Maybe bending, straightening that elbow. And when you're ready, releasing, coming back up to center, floating the hands up. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. All right, let's make our way to hands and knees tabletop. Two ways to get there. You can plant your hands and roll over the knees, or just swing the legs around to one side. We'll start here with a little bit of a calf stretch. I've been having some stiffness in my calves lately, so I'll show you guys this little calf stretch. First, finding the alignment, making sure that our shoulders are lined up with our wrists. We want our fingers open nice and wide, spread out nice and wide. And then you want a tiny little bend in your knuckles so that you're gripping the mat with your fingers. Bring the knees together to touch right underneath the hips. And then we'll lift one foot up, step it back, tuck your toes under, and then start to push through that heel. So you can find some stillness here, just pushing back at whatever pressure you like, or you can go back and forth, in and out of the stretch, exploring the range of motion. And when you're ready, release, dropping that knee back to its spot. Switching sides, other leg comes up, tuck the toes under, push through the heel. Remember, our sides are not symmetrical, so you might want to take a different option on this side, just pushing through the heel and staying there. We're moving in and out of the stretch. This leg might feel really different than the other one. When you're ready, bring that knee back to its spot. And we can start with our little balancing exercises here. Inhale, lifting one leg up. Try to bring that leg as close as you can to being parallel to the ground, pushing through the sole of the foot, flexing the toes. Maybe the opposite arm comes up as well. Take a big breath in here. Stretch out your arm and leg as long as you can. Exhale, release. Hand and knee back to the mat. Switching sides. Other leg comes up. Pushing through the sole of the foot. Imagine you're stamping it into a wall behind you, flexing the toes. And maybe the opposite arm comes up as well. Maybe you want to leave that hand on the ground. Take a big breath in. Stretch it out long. Exhale, release. Let's keep going with the breath. Inhale, lift and stretch. Leg and arm or just the leg. Exhale, release. Switching sides. Inhale, lift and stretch. Exhale, release. Keep going. Find your own rhythm. Just listening to your breath. You don't need to stay with me. Much more important to go at your own pace. To follow the rhythm of your own breath. One more time on either side. Once you've done both sides evenly, come back to hands and knees, tabletop, and make your way into child's pose, putting some space between the knees, sitting back on the heels, and then relaxing the forehead down towards the ground. Elbows can come to rest on the mat. Your hips don't need to be touching the heels here. They can just be reaching towards there. Close your eyes. Find a strong, full breath. Little breath check-ins throughout our flow are always nice because they give us a sense of what's going on with the breath. We really get to know our breath, irregularities in the breath, what to expect from our breath, and then also how to control it. It gives us practice slowing the breath down. Maybe even noticing how our breath speeds up as we start to move. And when you're ready, on a breath in, lifting back up to tabletop. And let's make our way all the way up to standing. However you want to get there. Starting with mountain pose. Equal standing posture. Bringing awareness to our feet, lifting up the toes, spreading them out, setting them down, and rocking back and forth. Heel toe, heel toe. Not enough to lose your balance. just enough to really be aware of all the nerve endings on the bottoms of the feet, all the places our feet are making contact with the earth. Come on to the outsides of the feet. Find all four corners of both of your arches. Find the pockets underneath the feet that don't touch the earth, under the arch, underneath the toes. And then stillness, finding some stillness here. We can have our big toes touching in some space between the heels, or we can have the feet on two different train tracks, hands by our sides, shoulders pushing down the back. Close your eyes for a minute. Imagine that you have two scales, one underneath each of your feet, and you want them to say exactly the same thing. Feel yourself here as balanced as you possibly can be, right side and left side. Remember, our goal is not perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. We're just trying to find that balance. Blink your eyes open. Let's make our way into Warrior Two. And starting by bringing the hands to the hips and bringing our legs into a nice wide stance here. Our back foot, toes pointing straight towards that long edge of the mat, and the front toes pointing straight towards the short end of the mat. Opening up the hips so that the hips are facing the long edge of the mat. And then check on the spine. We want the spine to be centered right above our hips, not leaning forward over the leg. Lift the arms up. Make sure the back hand is nice and high. And bring the gaze over the front middle finger. And here we can move with our breath. Inhale, straighten out the knee, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, bending the knee, lowering back down to Warrior Two. Keep going, finding your own rhythm here. Just listening to your breath and letting your breath help guide your movements. Just moving at your own pace. You can speed up your movements as you notice your breath starting to speed up as well. And exhale, coming back down to Warrior Two. Inhale, reverse warrior, legs stay the same. Front arms coming up overhead, arcing like a rainbow. And that back hand can stretch down the back leg. Or maybe it feels good to wrap it back behind you and reach the fingers around the front hip. Take one more big breath in here. On the exhale, coming to extended side angle, legs stay the same. Drop the front elbow down to the front knee and stretch that upper arm overhead. Try to make as straight a line as you can from your top middle finger all the way through the back heel. You might not be able to see yourself. Maybe there's no mirror. It doesn't really matter what you look like. It just matters how it feels to you. Push that upper shoulder down. We don't want to overextend and bring the shoulder in the ear. We want that shoulder to be down, pushing down. On your next inhale, rise back up to Warrior Two. Exhale, drop your hands to your hips. Come up to the front of the mat, shake it out. Take a little break here. Mountain pose. Closing your eyes. Bringing awareness to the two sides of your body, right and left. Noticing any differences here. Maybe your right leg feels like it was doing more work there, a little bit warmer. See if you can bring your sides back into balance. Just notice everything evening out again. And let's try the other side. Blink your eyes open. So if you're facing one way and you want to bring the other foot forward, you can do that. Or you can just have the other side of your mat be the front edge. Front toes pointing straight towards the short end of the mat. Back toes toward that long end of the mat. Making sure our hips are open towards the long edge and our spine is centered right above the hips, not leaning forward over the leg. Lift the arms up. Make sure the back end is nice and high. And bring the gaze to the front middle finger. And then we can go at your own pace with your breath. Inhaling, straighten out the front knee, bring the hands up. On the exhale, lowering back down to Warrior Two. Keep going. Just letting your breath dictate the speed of your movement. One more, going with your breath. And exhale, coming back down to warrior two. On your next breath in, reverse warrior. Front arm comes up overhead, arcing like a rainbow. This back hand can rest on the back leg or wrap behind you towards the front hip. One more big breath in here. On the breath out, legs stay the same. Windmill the arms around, and then drop that front elbow to the front knee and stretch the upper arm overhead. Nice straight line all along the top side of your body. Don't worry about what it looks like. Just as straight as you can make it. Feel. Keep that upper shoulder pushed down. We don't want to have that shoulder in the ear. Pushing that shoulder down. And on your next breath in, rise back up to warrior two. Exhale, drop the hands to the hips. Step the back foot up to the front. Shake it all out. Back into resting mountain pose. Closing your eyes, bringing awareness into your legs, your arms. Notice any differences you feel right now between your right side and your left. There's no right or wrong sensations. We're just noticing what's happening in the body. See if we can notice how those poses are affecting different parts of our body. Just raising our self-awareness. What's happening inside? Blink your eyes open. Let's try some balancing poses here. We'll start with tree pose. All weight coming to one leg, other leg. We're going to have that knee pointing straight out to the side. And then we have 3 foot placement options, starting with the toes on the ground, sole of the foot on the ankle. Maybe you want to raise the heel up and bring it underneath the knee. Try not to push on the knee joint because you don't want to hurt your knee. Or you can come all the way up above the knee on the thigh. Remember that every day is different. Maybe today you're feeling extra wobbly and you want to keep the foot lower. Maybe today you're feeling extra balanced and steady, nice and high. Check on the standing hip, making sure it's nice and tall. And if you like, you can include your arms. Inhale, raising the arms up. If you like, you can bring your fingers together. That's how my fingers like to come above my head. Or you can have your palms touching above the head. You can have the arms pointing out 2 different directions. If you don't want to have your hands up, you can also bring your hands to heart center on the hips. Or maybe try a little shoulder stretch, wrapping the hands back behind you and grabbing opposite elbows. So if you come into this one, just try to notice which of your arms is on top here. And then see if you can cross your arms the opposite way when we come in on the other side. One more big breath in here. On the exhale, release and shake it out. Shaking it all out. And let's try the other side. All weight coming to the other leg. Same options here. We can have this knee pointing straight out to the side, setting the toes on the ground, sole of the foot on the ankle. Or maybe you want to lift it up and bring the heel underneath the knee. Try not to push on that knee joint so you don't hurt yourself. You can also come all the way up on the thigh, if that feels okay. And then we have all the different hand options, raising the arms up. You can have the hands pointing in 2 different directions, bringing the palms together to touch, fingers. If you don't want your hands up, you can bring them at heart center. Just rest them on the hips or reach back behind you and grab for opposite elbows, crossing arms the awkward way this time. However, they were not crossed the last time. Focus on your breath. Holding on to a nice full breath here. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, release and shake it out. Let's take a little seated break here. Making your way back to an easy pose position. Take a moment to get settled, rocking side to side, forward and back, maybe doing a couple circles with the torso. And then finding a comfortable place of stillness, closing the eyes. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Another little breath check in here. So there's nothing particular that your breath should be doing. Just see what it is doing. Notice the temperature and the texture of the breath on the inside of the nose and throat. Notice your shoulders, your belly, your back. Maybe you can feel them moving with your breath. Perhaps there's different sensations that you recall from other breath check-ins that you're not feeling now, or that you may be feeling right now as well. There's no judgment. We're just feeling, sensing our breath. Blink your eyes open. Let's make our way back up to standing. Do a couple more balancing postures here. We'll start with chair pose. Chair pose, really good for the legs, and also it gives you that little shaking response. So good, getting the cortisol out of our muscles. Nice little reset. For chair pose, we can have our big toes touching, or we can have our feet on two different train tracks. Either one is fine, whichever one feels right to you. On a breath in, we bring the hands up. And exhale, sitting down into the chair, bending the knees, bending the hips. You can bring your torso forward over your legs a little to help with the balance. Keep the shoulders pushed down the back and focus on your breath. Take one more big breath in here. Exhale, folding forward, relax the upper body down. Bring weight to the fingertips and heel to your feet, bringing them nice and wide. And then reach out and grab for opposite elbows. Gently rock side to side by bending one knee at a time if that feels good. Little movement, almost like you're shaking out all the kinks in your spine. Before we release, peek down. Notice how your arms are crossed, so you can cross them the opposite way the next time we come in. And then let your fingertips come down to the mat. Weight comes to the fingers, heel to the feet back together. Bend the knees, rise up to standing on a breath in, unrolling the spine. Exhale, mountain pose. I see somebody sent me a little message here. I'm just going to check the... Oh, that's okay. Yes, I can. I can't actually see anybody, but I see that your names are here. Yes. Okay. All right, let's try now our figure 4 chair pose. So this is like the other chair pose, but just on one leg. If you feel more comfortable keeping both feet on the ground, you can totally do that as well. To come into this chair pose, we're going to keep all weight on one leg, and on a breath in, lift the knee high, arms up overhead. As you breathe out, bring your hands to heart center and cross the ankle over the opposite knee, and then bend your knee. Your standing leg sitting low in your chair. You can bring your torso here over the leg. Don't worry about how far you go down. Maybe you can drop the elbows down to that upper leg if it feels good. Try to keep these upper toes flexed, just a little protection for the knee. And on a breath in, rising back up, knee high, arms up overhead. Exhale, shake it out. And let's try the other side. All weight coming to the other leg. Inhale, knee comes up, arms overhead. Exhale, bring hands to heart center. Cross this ankle over the opposite knee. And then bend the leg, sitting low in your chair. As low as you feel comfortable going. Maybe dropping the elbows down to that upper leg. And focusing on your breath. On a breath in, rising back up, knee high, arms up overhead. Exhale, release and shake it out. Whew. Let's come back into Ragdoll Pose. This time we're going to cross our arms the awkward way, feet about hip width distance apart. Inhale, lifting the hands up. And as you breathe out, folding from the hips, relaxing the head and neck down, grabbing opposite elbows, and then rocking gently side to side by bending one knee at a time. Just let gravity help your spine reset. When you're ready, release your fingertips down to the mat. Weight comes to the fingers. Heel toe, bringing the feet back together. Bend the knees, rise up to standing on a breath in, stacking your vertebrae. Exhale, mountain pose. All right, let's come back down to a seat. Another little breath break here. I'm going to take this breath break with my legs crossed the awkward way because I took the other one with my legs crossed the normal way. You can choose to take it however you like. Feet tucked under the knees or open or out to the sides. Anywhere you want to be, finding a comfortable place for your hands. Rocking side to side. And then finding that comfortable stillness. Lifting up on the spine, relaxing back into your seat. Close your eyes. So maybe you're noticing different sensations here associated with your breath. And see if you can notice which body parts are moving with the breath. Compare any of the different qualities of the breath to our last breath break. Seeing what it is that's coming to your attention, what sensations you're feeling. And slowly come back to a strong, full, deep breath again. Blink your eyes open. Let's start here with head to knee pose. So we'll begin by stretching the legs out long in front of us and then bending one knee. Pop that knee out to the side. Bring the sole of that foot against your opposite leg. And then sit up really tall. You can set your hands on the ground in front of you. Take a big breath in, lengthen the spine. And as you breathe out, start to crawl the fingers forward. Keep the spine really long. We're hinging forward from the hips. And then finding your edge, rounding out the back, relaxing the forehead down towards the leg. And see if you can notice where you feel this stretch. Maybe you feel it on the back of the extended leg. Maybe you feel it somewhere in your spine. And on your next inhale, slowly rising up to a seat. Wiggle out your legs a little bit and try the other side. This leg extended, bending this knee, bringing the sole of the foot against the opposite leg. And we can set our hands on the ground in front of us. Take a deep breath in to sit up really tall. On the exhale, start to fold forward. Walk the fingertips forward, stretching the spine really long. And then find your edge. Round out the back. Relax the forehead down. On your next inhale, rising back up to a seat. Give the legs a wiggle and bring the soles of the feet together to touch. Knees opening out wide to the sides. So you can have your feet a little farther away or a little bit closer in. Anywhere they feel good here. Don't worry if your knees are kind of up a lot. That might just be because of the angle of your hip bones. So wherever the knees fall is okay. Interlacing the fingers, we can tuck them right underneath the toes and then take a big breath in. Sit up really tall. On the breath out, folding forward from the hips, keeping the spine really long, maybe shifting the fingers out to the outsides of the toes, and then relaxing the head and neck down. You can also push your knees down with your elbows if that feels good. Inhale, coming back up to a seat. Bring the knees together. We can have our hands behind us, fingers pointing towards the hips. Lean back on the hands a little and start to gently sway the knees side to side like windshield wipers. This is a really nice release for the hips here. You can come all the way down to the ground on both sides, or you can kind of keep the knees up and just go side to side, up in the air a little, if that feels better. And let's come into boat pose. We'll start by just pointing the knees to the sky. I'm going to actually move my little receiver here so that you guys can still hear me. Pointing the knees to the sky. We can wrap our hands around the legs. You can grab onto the knees or clasp your hands together and bring awareness to the spine. So you want to sit up really tall, maybe even leaning back a little to get that extra length in the spine, keeping the shoulders pushing down the back, not coming up into the ears. If you'd like to stay here, that's fine. If you want to go a little deeper, try to keep your spine where it is. Takes a lot of core strength, releasing the hands and tucking the fingers in the creases of both knees. And then you can lean back. One at a time, float the feet. So if this feels good, you can stay here. Or you can release your hands out to the side and maybe even straighten out the legs. That's really hard, even for me. So much core strength here. Stay with your breath. Take one last big breath in. And on the exhale, release. Drop the feet down. Let's just rock our knees side to side one more time. Release our hips a little bit. And come all the way down to your back. Back where we started. Coming into cannonball, drawing the knees to the chest. Wrapping the arms around the legs. Take a big breath in. Exhale. Curling up into the ball. Forehead comes to the knees. Squeeze everything together. And then release. Let your head come back down to the mat. Bring the hands to the kneecaps and do gentle circles here. Noticing any changes. This is one of the very first things we did today. You can find circles in both directions here. So maybe it feels really different from when we were doing this at the very beginning of our flow. Or maybe it feels the same. Either way is fine. We're just noticing what's happening here. And then release the arms, goal posting the arms or bringing the arms out wide in a T. Take a big breath in, lifting the legs up to a tabletop. And on the exhale, coming into a supine twist, dropping the knees down to one side all the way to the ground. Fingertips can tuck in the crease of the top knee. Turn the head, bringing the gaze over to the opposite hand. See if you notice any changes here. We came into this pose at the very beginning of our flow. We weren't very warm yet. We hadn't really been moving. So now maybe you're feeling a little bit more flexible. Maybe you're feeling it in different places in your body. Maybe not, and that's okay too. And release. Drop that hand back out to the side. Inhale, knees come up to center. Exhale, dropping them down the other way, all the way to the ground. Fingertips can tuck in the crease of the top knee and turn the head, bringing the gaze over to the opposite hand. Release that top hand back out to the side. Inhale, knees come up to center. Exhale, releasing the legs all the way down to the ground, coming back into Shavasana. So we have the same choices as we did at the very beginning of our flow. You can be flat on your back here. You can have the knees pointing up to the sky for a little bit of a lower back release. Sometimes, if one of my hips is bothering me or if one side of my back is bothering me, I also do this thing where I'll bend one knee out to the side and then prop the other leg up on it just to give that side just a little bit of a release on the lower back without having my legs all the way up. Anywhere you feel good, anywhere you feel comfortable, just find the most comfortable laying down position you can. Hands facing up or down. And then let yourself relax, melting into the mat. And you can stay where you are. I'm going to come back up to a seat so I can read your meditation. And we'll just do a little Yoga Nidra meditation. So the Yoga Nidra is the body scan. You may enter what seems like a sleepy dream state. It's not really fully asleep. That's okay. We're just thinking about different parts of our body, and it might feel like it's almost putting you in a sleepy state. Just close your eyes. See if you can make yourself 10% more comfortable than you already are, making any adjustments so that you can completely relax into stillness. Notice any shadows that fall across your eyelids. Notice any sounds you can hear at this time. And then notice the sounds inside of your own body. Feel the weight of your body on the surface of the mat. Feel your breath gently flowing in and out. Notice what is present in you. There's no need to change your experience. We're just being with ourselves, just as we are. Thoughts coming and going. Turn your attention to the sensations of your body. Without moving it, bring all of your awareness to your right thumb, noticing where it is in space, if it's touching anything, how it feels. You can imagine it in your mind's eye. Bring awareness to your right index finger, right middle finger, right ring finger, right pinky finger. Bringing awareness to your right palm, maybe noticing a texture or a temperature there. The back of the right hand, right wrist, right lower arm. Bringing awareness to your right elbow, right upper arm, and right shoulder. All of your awareness is on your right hand and arm as they relax. Shifting awareness to your right ribs. Perhaps you feel some movement there with the breath. Right waist, right hip, right upper leg, the thigh, right knee, the front and the back, right lower leg, the shin and calf, right ankle, top of the right foot, the bottom of the right foot, the heel, the arch, and each of your right toes. All of your awareness is on your right side, leg and foot, as they relax. Bringing awareness now to your left thumb, noticing where it is in space, if it's touching anything, how it feels. Moving to the left index finger, left ring finger, left middle finger, left pinky finger. Bringing awareness to your left palm. Maybe you feel a texture or a temperature there. The back of the left hand, left wrist, left lower arm. Bringing awareness to the left elbow, left upper arm, and left shoulder. All of your awareness is on your left hand and arm as they relax. Shifting to your left ribs. Perhaps you feel them moving as you breathe. Left hip, left upper leg, the thigh, the left knee, the front and the back, left lower leg, the shin and calf, left ankle, the top of the left foot, the bottom of the left foot, the heel, the arch, and each of your left toes. All of your awareness is on your left side, leg and foot, as they relax. Bring your awareness to the back of your head, the top of your head, forehead, eyebrows, eyelids. Bringing awareness to your nose. Maybe you feel your breath on the inside of your nose, cheeks, lips, chin and jaw, the neck and throat, collarbones, and that space in your chest where your heart sits. All of your awareness is on your head, face, and heart as they relax. Take a moment to feel where you might still be holding on to tension, or if you're struggling against yourself in any way. Allow yourself, if it feels right, to drop the tension, the struggle, and just be as you are, resting here, feeling the sensations of the body and the breath gently flowing in and out. We'll have a few minutes here of silent meditation, and then we'll do a couple more poses to complete our flow. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, taking some deeper inhales and exhales, bringing some movement into your fingers and toes. Maybe roll your wrists and ankles, rock your head side to side. You could take a big stretch with your arms up overhead, and then start to make your way back up to a comfortable seat. We'll just do a couple last poses here to shake our yoga fuck. On a breath in, floating the hands up. Exhale, folding forward. Take your time coming down. Don't worry about how far you get down. Just listen to your body, find your edge, and then round out the back and let the head and neck relax down. On your next inhale, rising back up to a seat and floating the hands up overhead. Exhale, side stretch. One hand comes down, walking the fingers out as far as they feel good, bending, straightening that elbow if you like, and leaning over to that side, opposite arm arcing overhead like a rainbow. On an inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale, down the other way. Back up to center. Big breath in. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Thank you all so much for